From Wall Street to Main Street to help small business owners have the same capital as corporate America and give them the same resources as a larger company. We cover business funding, business credit, scaling, business consulting, and much more. Check out the website at shieldadvisorygroup.com. Welcome to the show, The Liquid Lunch Project.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Liquid Lunch Project. I am Matthew R. Meehan alongside my partner, the Professor Luigi Rosabianca. What's on tap today, Lou?
Matt, today we've got a big treat. This next guest requires absolutely no introduction, so we're going to dive deep right in. Mark Evans, what is, for those of us in the audience that don't know, what is a mastermind? And how do you feel that it helps support small business? Welcome to the podcast, Mark.
Definitely. Thank you, Matt and Lou, for having me. You know, mastermind it depends if you understand what the term means or not. But to me, a mastermind means it could be two people, by the way, just two guys, three guys hanging out like we're doing now. We're masterminding just in a different way. But a mastermind to me is a collection of great people wanting to do great things together and talking about challenges, opportunities without judgment. You know, hey, here's where we're at. Here's what's going on. Hey, man, I'm having a tough time. I'm getting my dick kicked in right now. I need help. How do I grow my business? It's like, well, this is how we grow it. We're not judging like, haha, you're a loser. Go get a job. Or in a mastermind as well, like there's success happening all the time as well. Like, hey, man, I just sold a company. I just made $1 million. If you say it in your friend group, they might be like, dude, you're rich. You can do anything. Everything you touch turns to gold. But like secretly, you know, like you should have made $5 million, not $1 million. You kind of gave up, slowed down. Maybe just made the trade happen wrong, not good representation, whatever. So a mastermind is like, how do we learn from each other to grow and compound the growth as we evolve? Because I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to keep growing. You guys are going to keep growing and making things happen.
Mark, I'm going to quote you when you aptly say, sometimes a small business owner has to get out of his or her own way.
Yeah.
So just like, you know, what good is it joining a gym if you're not going to go? Or what good is it going to a doctor if you're not going to take his advice? How do you overcome that resistance, that pushback from a small business owner who's got probably a 16-hour workday filled from morning till night with a million things? How do you get him to kind of buy into the whole, you got to work on the business, you got to work on yourself, and if you do so, everything will flourish?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. I don't focus on them. I focus on the people I can change. My problem is I'm a fitter. I like to help people. And it's like, you know, it really used to cause a lot of frustration for me. I'm like, I know this guy, Steve. I'm like, dude, I saw his future that he didn't see. And I can't convince him of what that future looks like. Change is hard. Change is not exciting. You know, typically the guy that loses weight goes to the doctor and says, hey, if you don't lose weight, you're going to die. That's when change happens. And or, hey, you're smoking all these cigarettes. You know, it's not good for you. Hey, lung cancer runs in your family. 3 years, you're going to die. That's when change happens. Business, you're on that ladder, you fall down off the ladder, you break your back, you have nothing but time. So you start listening to podcasts like this and different things, you start reading, you start realizing like, I'm not invincible. You know, the truth is, Lou and Matt, everyone thinks they're living forever. They're out there on the job. I'm gonna figure this out. How if you're working 16 hours a day and you still haven't figured it out, when the fuck are you gonna figure it out? Like this is not how it works. It's not work harder. It's definitely not work harder. So it's work a little bit smarter. And again, 16 hours to 15 hours. And if you're a tradesman and you're in the trenches driving around all day, your car should be a mobile university. Ingrain yourself. I've read thousands of books. Beautiful thing about podcast shows and audiobooks, it's never been easier, you know?
You know, I never heard the term mastermind until I left Wall Street, circa
Really?
2015. However, we were always on Wall Street. We're in the sales space, right? We're on the phone. We had our own mastermind within our companies because we having a bad day. You didn't have enough accounts. You didn't raise enough money. You didn't bring in the assets that you needed to. Your team was always around you, pushing you further. I fell into the mastermind world, and I'm part of your mastermind, and I absolutely love it. I love DM Alliance. I love everything about it and being there. Full disclosure. And we're in a bunch of other masterminds too. The reason I found them is when I left Wall Street and I left New York and I moved to Florida, I didn't know anybody. I was starting out in a brand new industry, not really sure what I wasn't doing. It was fucking lonely, Mark. There was nobody else out there to talk to. Take for granted when you have a team of 80 people around you and you have your friends inside the office. But when you're building a business, just with yourself out of the gates. And yeah, you have some employees, you have some contractors that work for you, but you can't tell them the real problems of what's going on, right? The stuff that you can't come home and tell your wife this stuff. That's where I really found these masterminds to be very helpful in these sort of ways, right? You can't talk to, even when you hit a certain level, you can't really talk to your neighbors or your friends because they're not at that level at that time. So you can't really talk to what you want to talk about all the time. So I think these masterminds really do help. But before you were starting these masterminds and helping all these people, give us the background story. How did it start for you? Because I know you're from Columbus, Ohio. Don't really know much besides that. So why don't you tell the audience?
Yeah, no, I grew up small town an hour east of Columbus, actually, a town of 650 people. My dad did construction. My mom did admin for a company. I grew up in the trailer court till I was 10, moved into a house where my parents still live today. This is a small town, hardworking, people are still there. They don't leave. Right. And I grew up, they played bill roulette. I watched that my whole life. They put bills on the table, whichever one they grab, that's the one they pay. The rest go overdue. That's how we grew up. Christmas, you got socks, underwear, and a toy. You're happy, so I never realized. And again, my parents were hardworking, great people. They just they didn't have the financial, mental resource we're talking about. They did a great job for where they came from, from their my grandparents, and then to them. And then now my job is to break that cycle financially. But I always was an entrepreneur by heart. I knew I would never work for anybody. True story. I barely graduated high school. It's not that I was terrible at school. I just didn't like it. I just wanted to get out and get to work and make money. Again, you guys see, every day I saw my mom and dad in pain of no money. I knew how to solve that. I knew I could work. I could provide. Right. So I just started on that journey. And, 2 days after high school, bought a seamless gutter company, owner financing, random. I met this guy. I'm like, hey, man, like the truck's been sitting there for months. You want to sell it? Created this whole story because he's not going to sell to an 18-year-old kid. And then he bought it for $1,000 down, $287 a month for a 5-year term. And I had no clue what I was doing. I just knew that water ran downhill and I could do that. I'm willing to work. So one lesson I learned on that, the day I bought that, I still lived with my parents. Clearly, the phone was ringing off the hook because the business has been around 15 years. The number was it's everywhere. So it was like instant business as soon as I took it over. But then did that. And then 6 months later, I'm meeting this guy, he's smoking cigars all day, driving Porsches, paying me to do his gutters. And I'm like, what do you do? Right? Get curious. And he's like, I'm a real estate investor. I'm like, that's what I want to do. And then I went to a real estate investor conference, paid all the dollars I had, went and learned. I watched a guy, this is newspaper days. A lot of people might not know that, but like newspapers had the houses, remember the listings. And I called the guy and I started doing deals through the newspaper. And, I was like, I like this. I made 15 grand on my first deal. I never made that kind of money in my life. And I didn't work any harder. I just worked a different path, a different strategy, a different conversation. And then just started on that journey. And then I got cocky, almost went bankrupt at about 20. I was 20 years old because I was making, again, not a lot of money compared to now, but it was more money I ever thought I could make at that age or in my life. I dreamt about making 100 grand a year. That was my goal. And I was doing that a month back then. So but I was hanging out, doing stuff I shouldn't have been doing, being loosey-goosey with the money. And then fast forward, again, I really love helping people. Like I loved helping the sellers. I loved helping the investors. That was like fun to me. It was a game. It's like, dude, how many people can I help today? And it's like, you just keep going. And then I started building a company. I had assistants, then I had sales guys. Then I had, we started really building an operation. And then fast forward to today, I've done over 10,000 transactions in the real estate investment space. I've raised hundreds of millions of dollars. I mean, I've done all these things. It's cool, but like, I feel like I haven't even done anything, So the masterminds for me and these groups, like they actually inspire me to be better, to be very conscious of my decision making. I call it thought auditing. Why am I having these thoughts? Why am I scared to make a move? What's holding me back? What's pushing me? What's driving? Like, not everything's created equal. Some people want to make $1 million. Some people want to make $1 billion. So there's no right or wrong to this journey. It's just which journey do you want to be a part of,
So Mark, you're touching on something very important there. In the beginning, you said your phones are ringing off the hook. So you're doing gutters all day long, and then you're servicing the client, and you're signing contracts, you're taking deposits. I mean, you're probably dealing with vendors and staffing. How did you find the bandwidth to even open the newspaper and go to showings and go to open houses and manage the property, because that's the problem I think that the small business owner has today. They get so overwhelmed with administrative muck. They don't have time to have that introspective moment and say, all right, what else can I do? How can I diversify?
Yeah, actually, I have an interesting thought on this. I actually think most people have too much time on their hands. That's why they don't do anything. I had no time. That's why I had to do something. I was in the car. I don't know. Again, I had a CD with a rubber band around it with a big Tony Robbins, true story. And in 1987, C10, windows down, no air conditioning, and 110 degree. I loved every second of it. It was amazing because I knew where I was going. I always knew, honestly, I always knew I was going to be wealthy. I always knew. I didn't know how. I didn't know when. I just knew I was willing to do the work and become a better version of me every day to become wealthy. So too many people have too many options now. They have too much opportunity. They're listening to too many people. They need to pick one person and execute. Because if I say something, Lou, you say something, Matt says something, like we all have three different perspectives. We all might be saying the same thing, just in a different way. But as the listener, they might like, I don't know what this guy's saying, so I'm gonna do all three. And you can't chase three rabbits at the same time. But for me, I literally had to make something move. I had to make big moves. Every second, like I did not party. I did not go out. I don't think I touched alcohol until I was like 23 years old. I was like busy working. My friends like, oh, you're a loser. Cool. I'm a loser. Like, my friends still today, like, dude, when are you going to grow up and get a real job? Keep in mind, these are guys making 80,000 a year, 120,000 a year. I'm like, I make that in a day. Like, what are you guys talking about? I have more fun. I have more freedom. Like, this is silly. But, once you realize, I call it law of exposure, I would see a guy, I'd meet the guy in the Porsche smoking cigars. I want that, right? How do I get that? Well, I got to learn what he does. And then you meet the guy who has the Ferrari, meet the guy who has the mansion, those things inspire me, by the way. My social media when I was a kid was Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous, right? Sitting in a trailer in a 50-inch big screen, because you have to have a big screen in a trailer. My dad did. The thick one. We're watching this, and I'd be like, I think it was every Saturday, Lifestyles of Rich and Famous come on. I'd be like, dude, this guy's a jet. This guy has long hair, a jet, and a mansion. I want that. Then you saw the Testarossa, the Countach. Those things actually motivated me. So I don't know, man. That's kind of my thought.
We're so curious because I'll just give you like a silly anecdote. We had a few friends over, my wife and I, this past Saturday night, and organizing a dinner with 12 people is a Herculean task, right? Your mastermind are in the hundreds of people. How are you able to not just attract that following, but then also nurture it and always give back? Because I have not heard a single negative comment about your mastermind. And I got to tell you, that is not the norm, my friend. That is not the norm. You are the elegant Italian restaurant on the block in a world of Olive Gardens.
No, man, I appreciate that. Listen, I genuinely do love people, and I love to see people grow and win. And I'm very conscious. The beautiful thing, again, we have social media. So, say Matt has a baby, he's going to post about his new baby. I as a mentor or a guy that has mastermind or just an everyday person, I could see that. I could like it. I could acknowledge it with a comment. I could actually do all those and then send him a video. I could do all those, send him a thank you card, do all those, congratulations card, do all those and send a gift. I prefer to do all of the above, right? Potentially. So if you're doing that and as you're growing, like I'm consciously aware of what's going on in my world. It's not about me. It's about us. So I'm running. That's my operating system mentally. I'm not like, dude, how do I make more money? I'm like, how do we all make more money? How can we grow together? I don't know about you, but like when you get a gift in the mail, it feels pretty good, especially when it's unexpected. Not like a fruit basket for Christmas that everyone gets. I'd rather have a fruit basket in June than prefer no fruit basket because I think it's but like and it keeps me thinking. It keeps me on point. Like I love to see Matt and his daughter doing her stuff, and I'm very conscious of what's going on in my circle because our circle is like I don't know, it like feeds me. It makes me excited. The truth is, being this level, I get very sad and upset when people leave because I'm like so connected to them, and it's like they have a disruption in their life, something happened, whatever. It's part of the life, but like it really hurts me, And it's got its good and bads, is what I'm saying. But at the end of the day, it's like I don't know, man. Like, you don't want to be at the top of the mountain. You don't want to be right. By the way, I don't think there's ever a top. You're constantly climbing new mountains. But I want to go with people. I want to like hand up, and grow together and see what we're capable of. And because I'm not living forever, man. I'm 45. I think I got another solid 45 years in me. I hope, healthy 45 years. But I want to see what I'm capable of. And I feel like we haven't even got started yet, honestly.
No, I love that. I love being part of your group. I love learning from you every time we're in, I guess, a mastermind session, I guess you call it, or our meeting, at our meetups, right? I'm learning something new all the time. And I know me and Luigi are very big believers in relationships. No matter what, relationships come first. Money comes and it goes. It's a commodity. We're going to win. We're going to lose. And we're going to, like you said earlier, we're going to take L's together, whether it's losses or wins, right? Yep. But at what point did that become the norm for you, right? Because earlier on, you said you were running, you were gunning, you were trying to make money. Did you grow up that way, or did you have to learn that lesson the hard way?
Yeah, no, listen, my mom and dad are amazing people. My dad's got the personalities out there shaking hands. He's funny, he's charismatic. So I got that from my dad a little bit. My mom's the more emotional, holds everything together behind the scenes. And, I get a little bit of that emotional side from her. But I've always been I've always done more for others than I would do for myself. So again, like my operating system is very driven to make you happy before me happy, and these events, like, you're asking about, I have a great staff. I have amazing 2 assistants, Kim and Aaron. They're awesome. They handle, like we talk about it, the vision. I'm not a micromanager. I trust them dearly. Like, they have everything. They have more information than my wife, I think, and maybe my fiduciaries, but like, yeah, I think it's my operating system. I mean, listen, I'm not perfect at this either, man. Like sometimes you just get so crazy and you're like just running through the wall and you're like, but I've never been willing to burn down a relationship over money ever. Right. It's never even been a thought, because to me, like, it's money. It's like, I don't care about money like a lot of people do. Maybe it's money and I know we need it and I want more of it, but it does not drive me. The relationship, the opportunities, hey man, we're going to crush it, optimistic approach to it. Like, I don't know, like, don't get me wrong. It's always about the money because we all want more of it, but it's not at your demise. I'm not taking your money because I want to make more just because, like, I think it's a very selfish approach to life.
No, it's always a lot more fun to win together, right?
Absolutely.
Nobody wants to celebrate alone.
Yeah, and if I'm not making stupid ass comments to you back and forth, and my buddy's not, like, that's how we show affection to each other. It's like, dude, you're a loser. You only made 50 G's today. What's wrong with you? You're like, come on, slacker. Like, that's just fun though. Like, like that show. Like, if I'm not, my wife, if I'm not messing with someone, she's like, oh, you don't like them, do you? Like, it's just who I am, because it's like poking them.
So you got your hands in a lot of different verticals, right? Where do you see a lot of opportunity over the next 12 to 24 months? From where we are.
This is my biggest problem. I see it everywhere. So that's my biggest problem, because it's like, I got to pick the right one where it's like the biggest, where I want to be, not with where I'm going, okay, this is where I'm at, but where do I want to be 5 years from now? That's like, actually right before this call, I was talking with a buddy of mine who owns a very large financial fintech company, right? So I like the fintech style company. I like scale. I like massive enterprise value. I want to sell something for $1 billion. I just want to ring the bell for $1 billion, just because I think that'd be cool. Because hillbilly kid from Ohio, whatever.
You and Matt have a lot in common.
Yeah, I just want to ring the bell. There's no rhyme or reason. One of my mentors, he rang the bell at 52. I'm 45. I think I can do it by 50-ish. He's mentoring me, guiding me. He's taking his 28 years and helping me condense it in 5 years with his relationship capital and his knowledge, right, which is massively valued. And I pay a lot of money for him, and I'm gladly to do so. But I think anything that has scale, I can't scale. You got to create a scaling mindset in general, but like I can scale any company. The question is the squeeze worth the juice? Is the juice worth the squeeze, or whatever, however you say? I'm not trying to be in the trenches and do the work. And none of that. What's your unique ability? What are you great at? I'm great at not being a day-to-day operator. I'm great at hiring people to be day-to-day operators. I'm great at sharing vision. I'm great at not micromanaging. But I love the financial sector. I'm an entrepreneur. I love B2B sales. It's easy to me because I am them, so I don't have to worry about, like, I'm not trickery sales guy, like, saying certain words to make you sign the dotted line. I'm more like, I'm an emotional creature just like you. Here's my pain points. Here's your pain points. We can solve them. And if you don't want to solve them, cool. I'll go to someone else. Like I want to do it together though, so I think financial, and I think real estate has huge upside right now. Keep in mind, I'm a full-time real estate guy too. So I love real estate. I love real estate for what it does and then the tax benefits of it as well.
Absolutely.
For me, that's wealth creation, long-term. If I did real estate today, like I used to, like it's a grind, dude. It's a grind. You're making $300 a house net, maybe leverage to the hill. It's just stressful. I just don't enjoy it. Its scalability has massive issues to it.
When I first when I first actually joined DM Alliance, I wanted to learn more about real estate. I really thought I wanted a whole rental portfolio and I wanted to buy a ton of properties. And then I realized, no, I don't. I want to lend the money on the properties just like I do in my other business. It's just so much easier. No headaches, deal with one person or have the servicing company just handle it all. So I think that's really important. When people think that they want more. I just want another business. You don't want another business just to have another business. You want another business that can actually produce something that could scale without you having to spend more time, right? Yeah. You said something in one of your masterminds that made a lot of sense to me. I think we were talking about Tom Brady. We were talking about somebody. Maybe it was some big money guy. And you go, everybody thinks that they want to be Tom Brady. They want Tom Brady's life. They don't want Tom Brady's life. They just want Tom Brady's money, right? Because of all the discipline and everything that he puts in. And I think money is one thing, but time, as I get older too, I'm in my 40s also, I think my time is worth a hell of a lot more than just money these days.
No, I agree. I always use that analogy of like, do you want to be Kraft that owns the team, right?
I think that's who it was, Robert Kraft, I think, probably.
Do you want to be Belichick? This is before he left and all, but you want to be the coach? Do you want to be the quarterback? Do you want to be the lineman? It gets no credit, but gets beat up every day. Like there's a role for everybody. The question is, what role do you want to be? And listen, everyone wants to look and act, maybe like think they want to act, but like then you look at them on the couch drinking beer, eating bonbons all day. It's like, dude, you'll never be a Tom Brady. Like they won't even put you on the water boy schedule. But I think like I've never wanted to be a Tom Brady. I always thought my ego wanted me to be that, but I want to be Kraft, dude. I want to be the owner. I want to be like the guy like paying all these guys. You think Tom has money? Kraft has money, and he's the one making the moves. Like the truth is Tom Brady has a job. Kraft doesn't. He's the owner. He gives the jobs.
And Tom Brady has bad knees.
Exactly. Exactly. So yeah, I mean, it's like, it's like what, but this is an evolution as you evolve. Like if you're aware, the law of exposure of awareness, once you're aware that there's a better life or a different life and you don't acknowledge it, dude, you're going to live miserably if you don't execute, right? You have to start learning. You have to start knowing. Truth is, I don't know anything. The more I learn, the more I realize I am dumb. I don't know anything. Like, I think everyone makes millions. That's not the case.
But that may be your superpower, Mark, because there's the underlying notion there is humility, right? There's an old saying where, a 20-year-old kid says, my dad's an idiot. By the time he's 30, like, my dad, he's not so bad. He's got some good ideas. And by the time he's 40, he realizes, wow, my dad was really smart. Now, his circumstances have changed. His dad is still the same guy. It's just that as we get older, we realize how much there is to know. And there's this one term that Matt and I always talk about, like, are we going to do this forever? Are we going to retire? Like, what's that FU money figure that you need to create comfort for your family? And I think the one thing we've realized over the last, let's call it 5 years, that number gets exponentially higher because the cost of living and everything becomes more and more expensive, right? So like the typical small business owner gets caught up in this hamster wheel.
Yeah.
How do you try to advise your clients within the DM Alliance group and the DM Alliance family to avoid that hamster wheel and try to, let's call it, create that succession strategy?
Yeah, again, I think a lot of this, back to your first point, like I was always, again, I'm so dumb, I don't know better. I wasn't trying to be right. I was trying to be rich. Some people are like, dude, they're fighting their own ego. Like, oh, I'm trying to prove you right. I'm like, dude, show me a better way. Like, I don't know anything. And I'm all about learning. But I think you need to, again, this is a journey. It depends on what season of life you're in. I'm 45. I have an 8-year-old and a 4-year-old and a beautiful wife, beautiful life. I'm not trying to add more work to my plate. I'm trying to take work off my plate. By the way, guys like us and whoever's listening will never have that number. That number will never. We can say it's inflation. That's not really it. We are production-driven guys. That's how we find our worth in the world, through production. It will never change. We will be on our deathbed and we'll be producing something. We'll be producing laughs, producing memories, producing like that's what we do. It will, like, you cannot get it out of you. It's not. It's in us. It's in our DNA. It's not like, oh, there's a point when I get 100 million, it's going to change. No, it's not. No, it's not, because it's going to be $1 billion then. Why? Because we're produced. Like, that's where we find, like, you have to constantly be in production mode. And I think the succession, but the difference is you're doing it because you want to, not because you have to, right? You look at Charlie Munger, just passed away at 99, working at the office. Why? It's not for money. He's producing, he's growing, he's excited. Like, he's doing what he wants to do. I think the only people trying to not work are people doing what they don't love to do. Like, I feel honored that I get to wake up and do what I get to do every day. This does not feel like a job. This does not feel like work. My kids could be playing out in the pool, and I'd be happy to be sitting here doing this because I love it. Why? Because we're touching people's lives. We're making an impact. We're doing one to many. But if I had to go dig a pool with a spoon out back, that's work. I wouldn't want to do that, and I'm trying to figure out how to retire as soon as possible, right? But I think it's I don't know, man. Like, I just want to do more because, again, Lou, do you have children?
I do. I've got a baby boy.
Yeah, so you have children. We're ultimately going to have grandchildren, maybe. We have other people, friends as kids watching us. Like, we need to set an example of what this life should look like. And I'm very conscious of that. They're watching, right? So work hard, work smart, show them the wins, share with them the losses, share with them the lessons inside of all these moments. And I think that's our biggest gift as producers is, a lot of guys are trying to go one to many, but also, keep it one to the many, the kiddos, because they're the most important piece in this game. But ultimately, like, what's cool about the world we live in, we can expand it to the virtual environment and touch people's life across the world that we may more likely will never meet. So it's a pretty powerful impact.
Mark, I got to ask you a question because everyone's dying to know. What's the story behind the Kangol hat?
Well, Kangol and pink. So back in 1990, so this had to be 95 or 90. Yeah, 95. If you guys remember back in 95, guy wearing pink was not good. And where I come from, it's definitely not good. So I wore pink because I wanted to be different.
Yeah, on Wall Street, if Matt came to the office in a pink tie, somebody would cut it.
Yeah, exactly. So I wore pink because I wanted to be different. I was always a little different because I was thinking different, talking different, acting different. And then, Kangols, everyone where I'm from, everyone wears the hats. They have the bills all flipped down. We're farmers. That's what you do, whatever. So I was like, dude, I'm just going to wear a Kangol. I always thought it was cool. I see my grandpa had one once in a while, and it was just kind of old school. It was kind of neat to me. And it's been my trademark. It's like Ronald McDonald has an outfit, like Wendy has red hair. Like, why can't I have my own identity, And that it just kind of stuck. And it's me and my wife's biggest fight. Like, I have Kangols everywhere, and she's bought me 12 more yesterday. Actually, it's kind of funny, but yeah, it's just what it is, man. Like,
now, if you guys go out to dinner, you're always wearing the Kangol. If you have like an affair to go to, like a fancy event, you're always wearing the Kangol.
Always.
How many do you have? How many do you have? How many do you have?
Like a sleepy Kangol?
What's that?
How many of them do you have? Did you buy them like in wholesale?
Yeah, she buys 12 at a time, and we have them at all the properties we live at, and it's just it's like once they get a little beat up, you change them out.
Yeah.
But yeah, like picture a crowd of people. You're at an event. Like, our job is keep in mind, I'm a marketer at heart, right? Like, it's marketing, right? At the end of the day, now it's just like my life, but like it is marketing, cars and how, like, all that same thing. But picture a sea of people, and you see some silly, weird white top hat, because I'm kind of short. So people are looking down on me. They see the hat, like, there's the DM, or whatever. So it's just a way. It's an identifier. By the way, if you do something bad, it's kind of bad to have identifiers like this. But I want people to connect with, and it's just a separator, honestly.
Oh, that's awesome. I love it. I love it. Listen, showmanship, right? It's a big thing. And look at Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor was great, but why did he go so far so fast?
Yeah.
'Cause he pissed a lot of people off. He didn't like them. Now it's a little bit different than wearing a Kangol, but it's showmanship at the end of the day. It's marketing, right? Marketing attracts eyeballs. Eyeballs attract dollars, right?
Yeah. If you have
That's
a
really
plan, yeah.
that's a big belief in our book, right? I think everything comes down to marketing. I've seen some old stuff for you. You showed a video in the group. Were you giving away a couple houses? What was that a couple weeks ago? Tell me about that because I thought that was awesome.
Well, I mean, we gave 9 houses away to homeless veterans, right? Back in the
Uh-huh.
day. I don't do it anymore because we've had some bad experiences with it. But we'd buy a house, totally renovate it, down to the toothbrush, and hand keys over to someone that was homeless with a family or whatever. So we did that, and it's awesome. It makes you feel amazing. But then there's other sides of the coin that you don't know unless you do it, right? But now, but again, it's like I turned it into an event. Just like I do my birthday bash where we raised $711,000 in 45 minutes this year. Like I want to turn in big moments for everyone else to experience it, to grow them as well as grow me. So it's like, how do you show up, like you said, PT Barnum style, right? How do you turn like, oh, this guy's giving a house away, to like, holy shit, he's giving a house away. There's 500 people here. It's going to be, like over the top, news crews, cameras, helicopter, whatever, like, make it so over the top. But we got to remember what we're really talking about is branding, right? Like my brand is black and gold, DM. Like my office is black and gold. I have $1 million in a facility that probably everything else around there's 500 grand because I want to build it the way I want it. It's my brand. It's on point and it's top notch. And I think a lot of people cheap out on their brand because it doesn't make sense. Well, first of all, none of this stuff makes sense. And we only live once, so why not go all in? And I believe in. And by the way, I will make money out of that. And I always feel like if you believe in your brand enough and you actually, live those principles and you actually execute accordingly, you'll always make money from it. I don't know how or where or what, but like you buy a $500,000 car and everyone that says it's stupid. I pull up to a gas station because like, dude, I have $3 million to invest. What do you do? Like that's how these conversations start. I mean, I kind of forget I'm even in these cars because I've been driving them for so long, but that's real life. Like if I pull out a Toyota Corolla, that shit does not happen. I guarantee it. And it's not like a douchey way. I'm more the guy like, dude, sit in it. Let's take a picture. Put it on your wall. Like, this is amazing. I still get all jittery when I see a cool car, But again, it's like, that's my life. It's who I really am. I'm not trying to, if you don't like it, I don't care because that's on you, not me. Like, I don't like some of the stuff you have, but that you shouldn't care either. Like, life is too short to worry about what other people think you should have or not have. Because everyone's got that opinion, right?
Yeah, everybody has an opinion. Most of them should keep it to themselves.
Well, here's the thing is they won't. And we already know that. So that's why we got to have that filter where we just ideally don't keep them in our circle.
Yeah. I was just listening to another podcast and, most people just like to argue. And they were talking about Charlie Munger, who you brought up before. And they said that he wouldn't argue. How did he put it? He wouldn't argue with somebody until he could actually argue against his own argument better than they could. So unfortunately, most people aren't like him. He also had another good line. What did they say? They had a lot of good things. Somebody asked Charlie Munger once if he could play the piano. And he goes, I don't know. I've never tried. No, I can't. Most people would say, no, I can't. But he says, I don't know. I've never tried. So I think that's something you would actually do too, because I think you like to go and try new things and, get around new people and consistently learn. And I think that's what a lot of high achievers do, right? We're constantly learning. We don't know everything. And we're not too proud to admit that, get around the smartest people and learn what they know and leverage them in a good way to help build your own business, right?
No, man, I love it. I think, I don't know how you and Lou, I know you guys do stuff together, but I think one of the best ways to learn from other people is get outside of your industry, right? I see real estate guys go to all these real estate events. I'm like, I didn't start growing my real estate company until I went to internet marketing events, marketing event, like different environments where, and what's cool about that is everyone in the real estate world is trying to figure out how to do deals and get money. But guess what? Very few people have money in there, and everyone knows for the same exact reason. But when I went to the internet marketing and the big marketing conferences, that they're like, dude, you do everyone wants to do real estate. Everyone, and then you meet these internet marketing guys, 23 years old, that make $800 million doing nothing, like sending emails. They're like, dude, I have all this cash. I don't know what to do with it. They like you. I like you. Boom, let's put deals together. So it's like, if people get out there and you just see the world differently through all these different lenses. I call it money goggles. There's so much money around us. We don't even know it because we're so close to it, and it's very powerful, man. You got to get in different environments. It's fun.
No, I couldn't agree more. Mark, thank you so much for being here. We want to be respectful of your time. Can you tell everybody where they can find you, how they can reach you on the socials, find out more about DM Alliance?
Yeah, man, appreciate it. Yeah, just at the website, markevansdm.com, or on social, Mark Evans DM. It's all the same. And hit me up, connect with me. I'm very responsive. I love the game that we're in, and we're all lucky to be here for sure.
Everybody, please go out there. Follow Mark on Instagram. I'm telling you, you're not going to be disappointed. Check out his website. And guys, consider joining the DM family. It's a group of amazing people. And you get to be in rooms with me, Mark, and other like-minded individuals that can help you grow your business. Mark, thank you so much, man, for being here. We really appreciate it. I do have one question before I let you run.
Let's go.
So what is success to you?
Pursuing a better version of myself while enjoying the moment in real time.
Mark, thank you so much, man. We appreciate it. Everybody, that's a wrap at the Liquid Lunch Project. We'll catch you on the next episode.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for listening to the show. And make sure you subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a friend. We'll see you on the next episode of the Liquid Lunch Project.